What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Generaider deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck just got some absolutely crazy support out of Photon Hypernova, giving us an awesome new boss monster and even a really cool way to summon it. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description in a single video, getting a signed card in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to our Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Vala. Vala is an insanely powerful card in this deck and exactly what Generaider needed. It has the ability you can only control 1 copy of Vala, just like all of your other Generaider monsters, and you can only use the following effects this card once per turn. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can send one other Generaider card from your hand to the graveyard to be able to special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. And if this card is special summoned, you can special summon a Generaider monster from your hand or graveyard except another copy of this card, which is a super powerful effect to get you 2 level 9s on your side of the field, so you can make your copy of Generaider Boss of Shadow, which is super awesome. We then play 2 copies of Har. Har is a definite 2-of in the deck, and one of the main cards we're trying to summon to our side of the field. This card has an awesome effect that if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, except during the draw phase, quick effect, you can make your opponent send 1 monster from their hand or field to the graveyard, and it's their choice, which is a really cool effect to be able to do because it doesn't even target, which is just really good. And when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can tribute 2 Generaider monsters and or spellcaster monsters to negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card, which is really good that this card is basically a walking negate. We then play just a single copy of Hela. Hela is a really good 1-of in the deck because this card is basically walking Monster Reborn. By just tributing a Generaider monster, you can bring back a monster from the graveyard that has a different name than the monster that you tributed, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of Mardell. Mardell is the searcher of the deck because if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a Generaider card or a plant monster from your deck to your hand, which is really cool to be able to add one of your Generaider cards from your deck to your hand. We then play a single copy of Utagard. Utagard is a great card in this deck because this card helps you with spot removal. It has the ability to quick effect, tribute 2 Generaider monsters and or rock monsters, and then target 1 card on the field and banish it, which is great to be able to just deal with your opponent's field. We then play a single copy of Nidhogg. Nidhogg is a definite 1-of in this particular build, and it helps out a lot because it has the ability that if when your opponent would special summon a monster, quick effect, you can tribute a Generaider monster or a worm monster to negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster or monsters, which is an awesome effect to be able to use with this card to basically just stop your opponent for a summon. This card is really good in the deck and a definite 1-of just to stop your opponent. We then play 3 copies of Lopter, Shadow of the Generaider Bosses. This card is a great card in the deck. This card helps out so much in this particular build as a 3-of because it has the ability that all Generaider monsters that you control gain 1,000 attack and defense during your opponent's turn only, which is going to make basically your bosses extremely big and hard to deal with for your opponent. And during the main phase, quick effect, you can tribute a Generaider monster and special summon out 1 level 9 Generaider monster with a different name from your deck, which is really good to be able to tribute one of your Generaider tokens to be able to instantly get a boss on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Diviner of the Heralds. This is one of the best normal summons in the entire deck, because if this card is normal or special summon, you can send a fairy monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, and we do increase this card's level by that monster's level until the end of the turn, which is an awesome effect to be able to use with this card because we have multiple targets in this particular deck for this card. We then play a single copy of this really cool level 9 fairy that is awesome to be able to use with your copy of Diviner. Because basically what you do with this card is you send it to the graveyard with your copy of Diviner, and then during the main phase, if this card's in your hand or grave, you can tribute up to 3 fairy monsters, which you can just tribute Diviner to be able to special summon this card to your side of the field. which is a great effect to be able to use with this card to just basically send it to the graveyard off Diviner, and then tribute Diviner to be able to summon this card to your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Boutin. Boutin is a really cool card in this deck because it actually helps you make a copy of Baron de Fleur because of the effect of your Diviner, that if you tribute your copy of Diviner, you actually get to special summon a level 2 or lower fairy monster from your hand or deck, which is always going to be your copy of Boutin that you're actually summoning to your side of the field. And it's a tuner monster, so these two, just like in Agents, will make you a copy of Baron de Fleur. We then play a really spicy tech card. I'm actually going to lay this card face down, and we're going to play Guess That Card. So I'm going to reveal this card, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely hit that bell in there so you can come part of the notification squad. But this card is a super old school card. It's super good in this particular deck to combo with your copy of Diviner of the Herald. So let's go ahead and take a look at this card in 3, 2, 1. This card is super powerful and really good. So we're going to be playing a single copy of Angel 07. I know, really weird, really cool card, but the reason we're actually playing this card in the deck is because it's a level 7 fairy. So you can send it to the graveyard off your copy of Diviner of the Heralds to be able to make your copy of Diviner a level 9, which helps you out a lot in this deck to be able to make all sorts of different XZ plays. But this card also has a really good effect that if you do draw into this card and normal summon it out onto your side of the field, then when this card is tribute summoned, it gains the following effect, that the effects of effect monsters cannot be activated. And that's anywhere. Basically, this card is just insanely powerful skill drain and just really good as a one-of in the deck because it's super easy to get to in this particular build. It's a really good one-of in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is really good as a 3-of in this particular deck, just to stop your opponent from touching their deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is a really good one-of in the deck to be able to search out our copy of Boss Stage. This card is a definite one-of in the deck. We then play a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is a great one-of in the deck to be able to stop your opponent from hand trapping you. We then play 2 copies of Generaider Boss Quest. Boss Quest is a great searcher in the deck because you just reveal a Generaider monster in your hand, and if you do, you get to add up to 2 Generaider spells or traps with different names from each other from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, and then place the revealed cards on the bottom of the deck, which is really good because if you draw into multiple Generaider monsters, you can basically just use this card to reveal it and give you a double search, which is really good. We then play 3 copies of World Legacy Monstrosity. This card is really good to combo with Diviner when you make Diviner a level 7, or make your Diviner a level 9, excuse me, by sending your copy of your level 7 monster to the graveyard, because when you use this card when Diviner is on your side of the field, it has the ability to target a level 9 monster that you control to special summon from your deck 2 more level 9 monsters, each with different original types and attribute from that face-up targeted monster, and with different names from each other. But these 2 monsters cannot attack, and also they're destroyed during the end phase. But if you normal summon out your copy of Diviner, you can actually use this card to make an XZ play to go into your copy of your Boss of Shadow, which is really good. I absolutely love that combo in this particular deck, to just normal summon Diviner, send your copy of Angel 07 to the graveyard, and then once you do, you activate your copy of World Legacy Monstrosity to get you 2 more monsters on your side of the field, and then make your copy of your Boss of Shadow, which is just super cool. We then play 3 copies of Generaider Boss Stage. This card is the main card of the deck and how the deck functions. This card is super important to be able to get directly from your deck to your hand by multiple means in this particular deck, but it's super important to get to this card. It has the ability once per turn, if a card is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, except during the damage step, you can special summon a Generaider monster from your deck in defense position. And if you special summon a Generaider monster during your opponent's turn, except during the damage step, you can special summon as many Generaider tokens to your side of the field that are fairy light level 4, attack 1500 and defense 1500 as possible in attack position, but destroy them during the end phase, which is how you actually use all of your different Generaider monsters effects to be able to tribute them to activate their really powerful effects. This card is extremely important to get to and a really powerful card. We then play 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is a really good 3 of in the deck because we don't go in basically into all of our extra deck monsters, and this card helps you dig into the deck to be able to grab your copy of Boss Stage extremely quickly, or to get to your copy of Vala even faster, which is really good. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing a single copy of Generaider Boss Room. Boss Room is a definite 1 of in the deck and super powerful in this particular build because when your opponent activates a card or effect in response to your activation of your Generaider card or effect, you can discard a card, and your opponent's activated effects becomes each player draws a card, which will activate the effect of your copy of Boss Stage, which is super good, while also essentially being a negate. We then play 2 copies of Generaider Boss Fight. This card essentially gets you to your copy of your field spell extremely quickly by having the ability to activate a Generaider field spell directly from your deck or graveyard. Then, your opponent draws a card which will activate the effect of your copy of Boss Stage, so this card single-handedly sets up your copy of Boss Stage. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Impermanence is just a really good hand trap in this deck to be able to use to stop your opponent's monster effects while also locking down spell and trap card columns if you set this card to the field. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to be playing 2 copies of the Generaider Boss of Shadow. This card is crazy. This card has the ability that takes 2+ level 9 monsters. So you can use 2 monsters, you can use 5 monsters. It doesn't matter how many you use to make this card. But it has some absolutely crazy effects that you can only control 1 copy of this card, just like all of your other Generaider monsters, and monsters that your opponent control lose 1,000 attack and defense points, which is really cool to combo with your copy of Lopter, because it's going to give you a gap of about 2,000 attack points when this card and Lopter is on the field during your opponent's turn. Basically making where your opponent's going to have to summon out, say, a 5,000 attack point monster to even match your copy of Har, which is absolutely crazy. This card also has the ability that quick effect, you contribute this XZ summon card to special summon 1 non-fairy Generaider XZ monster from your extra deck. Then you can attach cards from any field and or graveyard to the special summon monster up to the number of materials this monster had, which is absolutely insane. This card essentially summons out a copy of Jormungandr off its effects while also gobbling up to 5 cards off your opponent's side of the field, which is just really, really good. This card is a definite 2 of in the deck. We then play 2 copies of Jormungandr. Jormungandr is a definite 2 of in this particular build, because this card gets absolutely massive. It's super powerful in this particular deck because this card's original attack and defense become 1,000 times its total number of materials, and quick effect, you can detach a material from this card and each player draws a card. And then each player that drew a card attaches 1 card from their hand or field to this card as a material, which is really good because by detaching 1, you're giving it 2 materials to get it even bigger. We then play a single copy of the Sacred Tree Beast. This card is really good to put on your side of the field because it is a walking negate, so it's a definite 1 of in this deck. We then play a single copy of the Phantom Fortress. This card has 4 insanely powerful effects that basically you detach a material from this card to either banish a card that your opponent controls, banish a random card from your opponent's hand, banish a card from your opponent's graveyard, or banish the top card of your opponent's deck, which is just really good. This card is just an absolute 1 of in this particular deck. We then play a single copy of AA Zeus. AA Zeus is really good in this deck because we do play so many XZ that can get a bunch of materials. So you can get basically a 6 material Zeus extremely easily in this deck. We then play a single copy of Baron de Fleur. You're usually going to make this card with a copy of Boutin plus any other level 9 monster, usually your copy of your level 9 fairy monster that you're summoning off your copy of Diviner of the Heralds. But this card is really good because it's a walking negate. We then play a single copy of Elder Entity Nist. Elder Entity Nist is a good 1 of the deck to be able to send to the graveyard off your copy of Diviner just in case you need to pop a card on the field. We then play a single copy of Underworld Goddess. Underworld Goddess is super easy to make in this deck with a copy of IP Masquerena during your opponent's turn, which is just really, really good. This card is insanely powerful at breaking your opponent's board. We then play a single copy of Access Code. Access Code just comes out absolutely massive in this deck. It's a really good boss monster in this build. We then play a single copy of World Gears. World Gears has always been a card that I loved in this particular deck because it's just really big and it comes out basically unaffected by your opponent's monster effects, and it can board wipe the field, which is just really, really good. I love this card's effect because basically it cannot be used as link material, and the link summon of this card is unaffected, or this link summon card is unaffected by other monsters, which is just super good to be able to just basically make this 3,500 attack point monster that comes out massive. And during your main phase, if you control this card that was link summoned using 3 monsters that had 3 different types and attributes on the field, which is super easy in generators, you can actually banish all other cards on the field, which is just super cool to be able to, destroy all other cards on the field, which is just super good to be able to just completely destroy everything on the field while keeping this 3,500 attack point monster on the field. We then play a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn. Unicorn is just a spin stuff, and it's just a really good one-of. We then play IP Masquerena to be able to make during your turn, so you can make your copy of Unicorn during the opponent's turn, or your copy of Underworld Goddess during the opponent's turn to break their board. We then finally play a single copy of Lib. Lib is really good because we do play World Legacy Monstrosity, and this card is really good because during your main phase, you can set a World Legacy spell or trap directly from your deck, but it cannot be activated this turn while you have no World Legacy monster in your graveyard, but that's totally fine because it is a quick play spell, which is really good, so we can activate during the opponent's turn or just get to it for a follow-up play. But this card can only be link summoned when we have a World Legacy card in the graveyard, so you're not going to summon this card all that often in this particular deck, but it's really good if you activate your copy of World Legacy Monstrosity and then link summon into this card, getting you to another copy of Monstrosity, which is really insane. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Generaider before, you definitely should give this deck a try. Make sure that as you're playing this deck, you do have your Generaider tokens, because these are extremely important. Make sure that you have at least 5 of them. They were printed in OTS 13, which is really, really cool that they actually gave us tokens for this particular deck, because you're going to need them for your copy of Boss Stage. So these are very important to be able to play. You can play any token that you want, but I like to be able to play the Generaider tokens because they actually gave us Generator tokens. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of our notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.